Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Jessica Peterson with Purpose Powered People, and today I have the wonderful Susan Oberbillig out here in beautiful Denver, Colorado, with lots of snow on the ground. You just got back from Hawaii, correct?
I did. So this was a very drastic temperature change for us.
Well, I hope you had an amazing time in Hawaii. So I always like to start out every single call. Tell us something awesome about your day so far.
Well, we are closing several loans this month for folks. And so with that, this morning I was able to get final loan approvals for several of them. And so helping them launch their new lives this month.
That is awesome. I love it. And I know that you've been in the lending industry, gosh, for, was it over 20 years? I know it's way over 20 years, correct?
Closer to 30, actually.
Closer to 30 years. Well, you look amazing. You don't even look like you could have been in it for close to 30 years. So,
Thank you.
yeah, you look amazing. And I know you've won Top Lender Award for Colorado. You run one of the most successful mortgage shops in Colorado. And with my banking financial background for over 20 years, I can definitely attest that Susan is one of the best in the whole state of Colorado. And I love how people come and always say, Susan's amazing. And you truly are. So tell us a little bit about your company and what you do and how you came about in this industry, Susan.
I got into the industry nearly 30 years ago, having just graduated from UCLA. And my intention was to go into law school. But I was newly married and found out I was newly expecting a baby. So I was trying to figure out a different career path that wouldn't take me too far away from her. So I got into mortgage. A very good mentor friend of mine had suggested it. And it's been amazing because this is a transaction that is almost most important to folks anywhere, because buying a home, is such an accomplishment for most folks. And so as I've gotten into it and learned the industry, I've really felt very gratified in being a part of helping people in the next step of their evolution.
And now your daughter just graduated law school, correct?
Yeah, she graduated a year ago, and so she works in corporate law. She's actually moving to Hawaii in the beginning of the year as well. She's going to clerk for a federal judge, because her next step of evolution is to try to get into being a judge. So this is helpful for her career too.
That's so amazing. I love that your children are really pursuing their dreams and their purpose. I know that personally from knowing your son as well. So you have your daughter and your son,
Yes.
and they are really outstanding children. So tell us your secret in raising such great kids.
I think the secret, if you will, is just to keep open communication and to really foster understanding what their dreams are and helping them make good decisions with respect to achieving those goals. And I think if kids feel like you're on their side and you're an advocate, they're very willing to open up and allow you to make suggestions and hopefully, get them into a position where they're able to achieve their dreams and goals.
So it sounds a lot like your business and the lending, just that communication, listening, guiding, same principles, it sounds like, correct?
Yeah, that is true. My goal in lending is to speak to the borrower and find out ultimately what their goal is, and then outlining the various possibilities and ways that we could achieve those goals, and letting them make the decision so that they are very committed to how we're going to proceed and complete the loan transaction.
I love it. So I am dying to know, Susan, what did you enjoy doing as a kid? What did you love to play and do?
I grew up with horses. So I was very active with my girlfriends that had horses as well. And that was probably the most challenging aspect of my childhood as well, because the horse that I had was barely trained. So I was new and the horse was barely trained. So between the two of us, we took a lot of falls and ran through a lot of fences, but we both managed to make it after a while.
Wow. So do you still have horses today?
I don't, and that's actually a stretch goal for me in the future. I could purchase one today, but I choose not to because I don't have the time to commit. But I'm hoping, as life continues to trundle down its pathway, once I have a little bit more time to actually have a horse again.
So you love to train the horse, and that's no surprise because you have a very successful mortgage operation where I know you get to train and work with some of the best people ever. What else did you love to do as a kid?
It was very important to me to have a lot of academic success. I'm the first college graduate in my family, and so it was important to me to be able to show my parents that what they had done in raising me was successful by achieving those educational goals. And so I did pursue quite a bit of the educational possibilities and activities growing up as well.
So it's interesting. That was your way of saying thank you to your parents in raising you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I love it. I've never heard such a response. So, and congrats on moving forward with your dream. So what other dreams do you have in life or goals in life?
My goal in life truly is to be a shining light and a good mentor for people. I feel in speaking with folks, not only the people that work with Paragon, but clients and colleagues and just friends in general, everybody's looking for someone and something to believe in. And so what I'm hoping is to be a good beacon of light that people feel like, maybe there's a few things that I could emulate or provide guidance with. And so that gives me a lot of pleasure.
Awesome. If someone can describe you in 3 words, what would it be?
Well, dedicated, persistent, and caring.
I absolutely agree with those for you. You're a true blessing and grateful that those are the 3 words for you. So what have been some of the highlights in your life, whether it be career, personal, childhood, adulthood? What have been some highlight moments in your life?
Well, my family first. My husband, my children, maintaining good, solid relationships with my general family. And I think, and you know the power of Facebook, but I think part of all of that is reconnecting with old friends and acquaintances. And Facebook has been instrumental in doing that. And so those have been the most wonderful things, is to keep that connectivity with all of the different people that I've met in my lifetime. It makes me feel whole as a person to have all of those folks that I can still reach out to.
Absolutely. Relationships are so important. You and I spoke about how you recently gave a TEDx talk, and in there I talked about one of the top 5 regrets of people who are dying. And one of those is not staying better touch with their friends. And I know you do an outstanding job of attempting to stay in contact, whether it be in person, social media. I had a great time with you the other night drinking wine. I know you like wine. I love wine as well. So, and you just went to Italy, right? Tell me about that.
We did. One of the goals that I have for the future is to travel more extensively out of the country. Had never been to Italy before, so saw so many amazing things. I had wished my 5 senses could have been better because it's so difficult to absorb everything. But we traveled to all the major cities. We got to visit a winery. And so I did go ahead and ship some wine back, and have been enjoying that ever since.
Remember who your friends are. No.
Indeed, yes.
Awesome. And so where do you plan on going in the future for trips? What's on your life list?
Well, I would love to, I guess maybe the next places to go: Portugal, Spain, Germany, Monaco. Those are very interesting to me. So I suppose as I make the bucket list and start checking them off, hopefully I'll be able to say I've had quite a variety of travels.
That's fascinating because Germany's on the top of my list too.
Yeah.
Especially that's my husband's background, German. So, and then you and I are part of a gold club, and I always think of you as a great protector. You love an educator. When I think of you, you're a protector, educator, communicator. So you communicate very well. You love to protect people, even when it comes to their future, and you're very protective on home loans. You love the fact that you can truly shop for the best deal. It's no extra cost to the client. And it's so amazing to think of what will people do with that savings, creating more trips, dreams, memories. And with that being said, I have a couple questions for you. But before we leave the whole vacationing aspect, what other places have you visited?
We've done quite a bit in the Caribbean. Been to England, been to France, Mexico, and then quite a bit of the states in the United States. But again, Europe, really, I do need to make a better effort. Canada, I guess I'll have more of an opportunity to head that way as well.
Yes, yes, your son is relocating to Canada, pursuing his dream, which is awesome.
Yes.
And what's been the most amazing vacation you've had out of all of those? What's the most memorable?
Oh my goodness. I think they're all memorable in certain aspects, but I'm going to say probably Mexico. And not only for the ability to truly immerse yourself in a different country, in a different language. I don't speak Spanish, so that's kind of a get you out of your comfort zone and allows for some growth. But the times I've been to Mexico, I've been with family, and it's been a wonderful bonding experience. So I'd probably say Mexico.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a really fun story while in Mexico? Anything that stands out?
No, there's always been interesting people along the way with the travels. I know recently we did some parasailing, and so we were part of a group of folks that were there from the Midwest that were on a wedding, and boy, weren't they entertaining. So my husband and I just sat back and took it all in and laughed.
So it sounds like laughter at all the trips. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know that you're all about making a positive impact in people's lives. Do you have any experiences or stories to share in the lending industry that really stand out, one or two of them?
Well, one of my favorite is I received a referral regarding a couple of folks, a married couple here in the Denver area in law enforcement. And they were paying a total of nearly $3,000 between a first and a second mortgage, and the interest rates were horrendous. And they were part of a community here a couple of years ago that hadn't had much appreciation, so it was really kind of difficult to structure a loan for them. But we were able to do a refinance for them and drop their payment by about $1,200 a month, which is significant. So that's probably one of my best stories.
Wow, that's huge. I bet they were ecstatic. Were they hugging you or sending you a gift? Or
They were happy. I asked, because they were law enforcement, to make sure if they pulled me over for a ticket that I wouldn't get one, but
that's hilarious.
I know. Well, it was funny, but actually recently I just refinanced them again with a no-cost loan to make sure that we didn't erode any equity, but drop their payment yet again. So for me, repeat business is very important to me. It says I did a good job. So.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And what has been the secret to repeat business for you?
Well, I do think obviously it's showing outstanding care, concern, and customer service up front, but I do stay in touch. I try not to over communicate and over advertise because then people just kind of get tired of hearing from you. But I do have an email that I send maybe once a quarter, and then also just send various promotional things to my sphere in about every single month. And so I think it keeps me in front of them. And so even if they don't have an immediate need, they might have a friend that they want to refer to me.
That's awesome. So what are your parents' first names?
Bob and Mary.
So how would you describe Bob?
Well, both my parents grew up during the Depression. And again, we're high school educated. My dad was in World War II. And so what I would say about my dad was he was incredibly dedicated, not only to work, but to family. And they were very, very middle class. There was always money for food and shelter and clothing, but not a lot of extras. But they made sure that I went to college and they paid for it. And I did not have one student loan. So I thank my dad for his dedication and his caring.
What did he do for work?
He was a machinist.
Oh, okay. And are your parents still married?
They are married and they are both still alive. Dad is 90 and my mom will be 89.
Wow. How long have they been married for?
Gosh, well, since 1958. So long time.
Wow. Okay, a long time. And do you have any wonderful memories of your father?
Uh, Even though Dad worked pretty early and he was real tired when he got home, he always made an effort to throw a ball or be a coach for a softball team I was on. And he was responsible for helping me get that first horse. And so, he was an enabler and it was great.
That's awesome. What was your horse's name?
Sundance.
Ah, I love it. And then, so your mother, what are some of your favorite memories of her?
My mom is probably one of the most caring people I've ever encountered in my life. And she's an amazing cook. She's an amazing mother, and she's a caring friend and church member. They live back in Iowa and have all of their family back there. So I think one of the secrets to their longevity is they have a lot of family support. And my mom is one of the best at connecting and keeping the family fires burning.
Okay. That's fascinating because not only eating well, but also being happy and community and relationship seems to be the secret to a long life, right?
Yes, and even though I know sometimes she gets tired with the various activities that she does to promote all of that, she's very gratified herself. She takes a lot of pride and pleasure in doing all of those things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is she a good cook too, I bet, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, she's an amazing cook. Her family were immigrants from Wales, and they were farmers when they came over to the United States. And she learned to cook from my grandmother, and she's still one of the best cooks that I've ever encountered.
Wow. What's the best meal you've ever had by her?
Probably just a good roast beef, potatoes, and carrots.
That's funny. I was actually craving that yesterday. That sounds so
Yeah,
good. Maybe it's the winter weather. I don't know. But that's awesome. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have three half siblings, older than me, and then I have a younger sister. So uh, they're all still in the Midwest. We do keep in touch, and every time I go back to the Midwest, we get together.
That's awesome. I'm sure you have lots of stories with all those siblings. Some crazy, wild stories. Any that stand out to you?
Oh, I mean, I think as you get older, everybody gets along better. I'm sure there was amazing sibling rivalry between my sister and I specifically, but yeah, it was just good old, good old Iowa horseback riding, running around till dark. Back then, no cell phones, so again, we were just told to be home at a certain time for dinner, and so depending on the day, we running around playing with different friends and having a good time.
Good. I know those days were wonderful, huh? Where you could just run around wild and carefree, and unfortunately, nobody can today. Were you excellent at math?
I actually was good at math, and what's really funny about it is, so I was my sport was track, but I also was a cheerleader, and I still remember my cheerleading coach absolutely astounded that I actually was relatively intelligent. He was a math teacher. Now I never took math from him, but he found out, that I was taking calculus and got an A. He looked at me and goes, "I didn't know."
He was all shocked. He's all shocked. So you did cheerleading, track, baseball, right?
Softball, yeah.
Oh, softball. Any other sports?
Um, that was pretty much it. Yeah. For both horses, yeah.
I could see you being a cheerleader. You're always cheering people on, so happy and so positive. I can absolutely see that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We actually got to do a lot of traveling and performing, so that was very fun.
So how long have you been married now for?
I have been married for nearly 20 years.
Wow. How did you guys meet?
We met at work, and he was my boss, and we were paid while he was my boss. But when I ended up working somewhere else, I had forgotten to return an office key, so I had to go back and provide the key, and we went out for margaritas, and the rest is history.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So what's been your secret to, because I was just featured in a book for top 100 women in the world, and one of the reasons was, being married 18 years next month, which is rare, unfortunately, now today. So you are even way ahead of me with almost 20. What's been your secret to the marriage?
Well, I think, and you know, we work together, so that's actually a stressor on a marriage. But
Yes.
I think the way we have evolved is that we both understand our commitments at work. And because of that, when we have personal time together, we understand each other a little bit better. I don't know if that makes sense, but we're able to sort of focus on other things from a background and a base level of knowing each other, not only personally but on a business level.
So if I understand you correctly, when you're at work, you're in work mode, but off work, you guys are on personal mode. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes the two commingle, and I would probably prefer that not to be so, but I do think because we understand the stressors that we go with work, sometimes in a marriage, if you don't understand that, somebody feels neglected because somebody's head might still be back at work, if you will, but we do understand what each other goes through during the day. So I think that, coupled with the fact that we do enjoy each other a lot, we love to travel, we get each other's humor, and at the end of the day, we like each other, and so that's probably the secret to the success.
So the humor. And you guys probably keep your distance too and have your own separate activities.
Yeah, we're different people in terms of activities and stuff too, but I think, again, because we allow each other personal space without being clingy, I think that's very helpful.
I agree. You know, I work with my husband as well, even though we have separate offices, but we still like to have our separate time. You know, time with the girlfriend. Have to have your separate time. So if someone was to ask you, what is your purpose, Susan, and how did it evolve into your almost 30-year career in the mortgage industry, how would you respond to that? And I know it's a pretty deep question. So how would you respond?
Well, I guess I would start by saying initially, growing up and early on in my career, my goal was to be the best in the industry and be the best for me. But what I quickly realized was that part of being the best was understanding and caring about the people that I worked with and focusing on them and promoting them being their best or helping them make their best decisions. It made me a stronger person. So my goal is to continue to grow in terms of being empathetic and being helpful in helping other people achieve their dreams and goals.
So would you say when you assist someone with their best financial decision for their housing, it definitely goes into their personal life and them achieving the best they can be? Is that correct?
Yes, because if their finances are in order, it takes one less thing off of their mind and they're able to focus on other things. And hopefully, if we've reduced payments for them on a monthly basis, there's that money to do what they need to do. Or in some cases, I've got clients that are actually increasing their mortgage payment, but it's increasing because we're cutting the number of years off the loan. So that's also a good goal for folks, because reducing the number of years on a mortgage, you save a lot of interest. And since people's homes are part of their retirement strategy, they've just, completely augmented their retirement plan.
I love it. And any other additional information on what makes you so different from majority of other lenders?
Well, I think the person that a client typically speaks to is a salesperson. And the general mortgage loan originator who's a salesperson may not understand necessarily the nuts and bolts of everything that goes into getting that loan completed once it's been taken. They move on to the next deal. And that's fine if you've got a good team behind you. What I've prided myself on is that I've done every aspect of mortgage. So at any step of the process, I can take over and do what I need to do if I've got a team member on vacation or whatever. And I think having that in-depth knowledge of all the steps that go through the process, I'm able to maybe structure the loan a little bit better up front and also assist with getting it closed in a more timely and less chaotic manner.
So knowledge, teamwork, and access to some of the best programs is the top three. That's what I took out of it, correct? Okay. Yeah, you know, I remember what people always used to say about me with my over 20-year marketing, banking, financial background was this motto, and it reminds me of you: experience matters.
It does.
Experience does matter. So, well, I'm so grateful for you. Do you have anything else to add to this interview?
Um, Only to say that I'm grateful for you, including me, and giving me this opportunity to I guess articulate a little bit of what we do, and I'm just looking forward to utilizing our relationship to further help other folks.
Yes, I'm excited what comes about in the future for you. And I know you and I've had some conversation about bringing more community people together, knowledge, wisdom. Exciting times ahead. And I'm grateful for you to be a part of the project for Purpose Powered People. And thank you for all the good you do, Susan. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future, okay?
Thank you, Jessica.
Have a great one. Talk to you soon.
You too. Bye-bye.